Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're going to do a little listener mailbag. Not as many questions maybe coming in now, as a lot of people are probably out of it for the season, but I guess if people are still tuning in, pretty much you could probably say either good luck this week on getting to the playoffs or you've already made the playoffs, I would say. I don't see probably not that many other people listening other than playoff contenders right now. So, and we are both of those, Jeff, aren't we?
Yeah. Mostly playoff contenders, thank goodness. But yeah, there's always a little sadness when you're in a bunch of leagues.
Well, I feel pretty good about I was just looking at that earlier, and 1 week left, and yet let's see, we're in the playoffs in our main league. I'm in the playoffs in our secondary league. Not going to make it in our dynasty. In the playoffs in the Scott Fish Bowl. In the playoffs in the Instagram Twitter league. In the playoffs in the Instagram Experts League. So I feel pretty good. I'm not going to bring up the listener leagues though, because listeners are too good.
Yeah, they are. They did really well. There's a few teams that really stood out this year that we can maybe in another episode go over, but I was pleasantly surprised with how tough that was.
If not this week, definitely next week when we got the playoff teams lined up, we'll talk about the listener leagues and who's in line to possibly win the championship belt. So I don't know if I'll be able to keep it like I thought. One league maybe get in the playoffs, but we'll go over. We'll definitely try to go over that next week for everybody. But how about we just jump into some questions here? So I have a few questions that came in, a lot of start-sit questions. So I'm going to go with Johnny's question here first. He's looking for running backs. He has 4 of them to choose from. 4 running backs to choose from. Nick Chubb, James Conner, Gus Edwards, Josh Adams. I know Edwards and Adams have been good lately. Is there any chance you would ever think about playing them over Chubb and Conner?
No, not me. I think Chubb for sure. He's been playing well. They're giving him a lot of carries. Conner, I realize the last 2 weeks he hasn't done as well, but I still like his track record compared to definitely Josh Adams. And, you just don't know how that Baltimore, offense is going to shake out. He's been getting a lot of work, Gus. But right now I still would say those 2 are guaranteed plays. Yeah,
I agree.
And when I say that, I mean Conner.
Yeah. Because Edwards and Adams have been great, but you can't play him over those other guys. And looking at for his flex, you can't even put him there because his wide receivers, he starts 2, and then he gets to go with the flex because he has Odell Beckham, Tyreek Hill, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I stick to the tried and true. I think if anything, if you had to play a third one, who would it be? I'm just wondering for my own sanity.
If you had one ahead of
sure. So if you had to play Gus Edwards or Josh,
I think I'd be leaning Edwards.
Okay, I would too, and that's a good way to put it. I think Chubb would be my number 1. Sadly enough, Conner number 2, Edwards, and then So that's how I would rank them.
So next question is from DJ2383 on Instagram. He needs to pick 2 players to start here. This is for PPR. Let's see, a PPR league. So he plays 2 of these guys: Tariq Cohen, Mark Ingram, Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, Calvin Ridley, or Gus Edwards. Oof.
Oh, only how many? 2?
2 of those.
There's a lot of names.
Ingram, Sutton, Reynolds, Ridley, Edwards. I'll just say right off the top, I'm only going between 3. I'm going between Cohen, Ingram, and Edwards. I'm really not considering Sutton, Reynolds, and Ridley.
I agree with you.
So now which 2 of those 3?
Right off, and I have to look at the matchups just to make sure. Off just my initial reaction this week. Once again, I have to look at it real quick. I'm going to, but I'm actually leaning towards Edwards and Ingram. But I want to look at who Chicago is playing. Who are they playing? Let me look it up just real quick.
So let's see. Edwards plays Atlanta, and then Ingram. Let's see. Ingram in New Orleans are playing Dallas, and then Cohen.
He's playing New York.
Ugh,
I mean, they're very close. I mean, that's how I
Ingram and Edwards for me. Yeah,
Okay, and that's what I picked too. I like Cohen. I really do. I've come around a long way, but he's very up and down, and I think I really like Tariq, but I think Edwards and Ingram are a little safer, and I think that they both have a better shot at getting a touchdown, and I think they're also close. That's what I'm going to be leaning towards. Next
question comes from Andrew. Would you start? Oh wait, what is this? Yeah. Oh, okay, got a. I'm trying to see here. What's the? Who would you start here? Demaryius Thomas, Golden Tate, or Josh Reynolds? Not Tate.
No, Tate's out of it, and
I think it's Demaryius.
Yeah, sadly enough, it's Demaryius. I know he had one big game. I don't want to blow it out of proportion, but he is a good wide receiver. There's no doubt he's the number 2. Reynolds is number 3, even though it's on a potent offense. Don't get too caught up in that. I would go Demaryius.
And then for running back, who would you start? Sony Michel or Philip Lindsay? Michel plays Minnesota.
Man, that's a good
Lindsay
one.
plays Cincinnati.
Oh, that's a good one. Lindsay has been playing awesome, and he's going against Cincinnati, who is terrible against the run.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sony Michel looks so good though. They give him.
I think I go Philip Lindsay. I actually do. With this matchup this time, I think Minnesota could take Michel out of it. And Burkhead's back now too. They could use a lot of guys.
Yep.
I'm going Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, I like it. He looked really good too. I mean, obviously, Michel has been getting more carries than him, but Lindsay's been doing a lot with the carries he's been getting, and especially with the how much better he's been doing than Freeman. I wouldn't expect him to dip below 15 against Cincinnati. That's just me personally, but I think he'll actually get a good workload.
All right, so the Wiz has a couple questions here, trying to help us set his lineup for this week. He needs to win this week, and then he's in the playoffs. If he loses, he's out.
Whew,
so
the pressure.
This is big pressure here. So first off, he has quarterback question: Jameis Winston or Dak Prescott?
Oh,
which Jameis are you gonna get? Jameis versus Carolina, or who knows? Or is it you go Dak versus New Orleans? New Orleans has been better on defense, I think, lately than they started.
Yeah, I mean that's not very tough to do. But
I think Jameis is the smart. I think Jameis is the play.
Oh,
I think he has to be. I can't trust Dak Prescott. Okay, what am I saying? I can't trust Jameis Winston in this spot either.
Yeah,
but
both of them are very.
Look at this. Expert ranks for this week puts Jameis at 6. You know what this means. This is like just repeating itself.
No.
I remember earlier in the year, same thing happened. Everyone moved Jameis way up the ranks, and it backfired.
Oh man, it's the kiss of death with Jameis.
I still go Jameis. I think he's figured something out.
I wouldn't go that far, but
maybe.
I mean, he could. I don't know. He can do really well. Man, I mean, both of them have pretty good matchups, to be completely honest, and both of them are sporadic. Sure. One. Yeah, it really is tough. Very, very tough for me. The fact is, Jameis can't rely on Zeke. Man, I think that New Orleans is going to put up a lot of points, but every time I say that backfires on me. So, I tell you the truth, I guess I lean towards Jameis, but I like Dak a little more. So my gut is getting in the way. I have nothing to back it up, but I have that gut feeling about Dak. He came off a big one against Washington. You didn't think he was going to do too much. Goes off for 31. But then again, I thought, Atlanta would be a high-scoring game. He only scored 14. So, yeah, I guess Jameis is a little, unbelievably, he's a little safer because even when he had one bad game, but everything else is 20 or above. So
it's weird to say it to trust your team to get into the playoffs. You might go with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I would go Jameis, but that hurts to say.
Either one of these is not which one, but
yeah,
we'll see. All right, next one. He has for the next part of his question. Which 2 wide receivers do you start? Tyler Boyd, Larry Fitzgerald, Doug Baldwin, or Anthony Miller? It's another
man. He is testing us, man.
That's another tough one.
So I would start Boyd, right? That one stands out to me. I like Boyd. Even though he's going against Denver and you have Driscoll, I just like him better than the other options currently.
Yeah.
After that, for me, it gets real dicey. Who were the other three again? I know Baldwin was in there. I know Fitzgerald, and who was the third?
Anthony Miller.
Anthony Miller.
Tough. Man. I don't know.
Yeah, sadly enough, I mean, okay, I wouldn't start Anthony Miller. I don't trust him.
I think I'd
enough.
go Doug Baldwin.
Would you?
I think so.
I'm really going between him and Fitzgerald.
I think I do. His numbers would have looked so much better last week. He had a touchdown that he should have had it. And so I think that, like, if we all of a sudden see a touchdown, our thoughts would have been so much different on him. And it's basically the same game, but we would think so much differently.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess my issue is they've been scoring very similarly. If you're talking about Fitzgerald and Baldwin, but Fitzgerald has been getting the touchdowns.
But that's all he's getting too.
Yeah, it's very true. And I mean, it was the very first pass of last game. But I mean, that's been what, 3 out of the last 4 games. Like, they are going to him compared to Baldwin having 1 touchdown the entire season. I mean, even when he had 7 catches against Green Bay just a week ago, he only had 52 yards. Which, I think these have been tough. I actually would go Fitzgerald. I would. I think that one is close too, but I go Fitz.
They really are tough this time around. Normally it's just an easy, we know exactly what you're going to pick. You know, what we're going to pick, but not today. But this last one, final question from him. Which player do you play at flex? Austin Eckler or Gus Edwards?
Oh my gosh, what the world?
Toughest decisions here.
It is. Personally, I go Gus Edwards. I think he's
so
safer
too.
He's safer to get the bulk. I love Eckler.
I
really do.
Eckler's going to be great, but
I do too. But I think they might try to actually involve Jackson a little more. And let's be honest, like, they could throw all day. Rivers is playing great. I feel like Edwards is a little safer, but Eckler could go off. But I would go, if it was my team, I would go Edwards. But I would hee-haw over every single one of those. Like, I would deliberate for a while. But those are very good questions.
All right, let's see if I got any more. Got one more here. I got a couple more. So let's see here. Tom Brady or Jameis Winston? Brady against Minnesota or Jameis Winston?
I can't. First of all, can we just talk about how I can't believe this is a question and a legitimate question too?
Right?
Like, okay, and just to put this in perspective, 3 games before last game, finally against the New York Jets, who are not a good team. Sorry for any Jets fans, but he put up 23. Before that, he put up, just rounding, 11, 18, and 14. 3 games in a row that are just subpar. I don't know. Where do you land on this? Because I don't trust Jameis as far as I can throw him. But right now, Tom Brady, I can't trust either. And he's actually
I'm playing Jameis Winston.
I was going to say, and he's actually playing a much better defense.
I'm playing Jameis. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the consensus says. It's pretty much what everyone is leaning towards. I just can't believe it's happening.
Right? It's Brady and it's Rodgers. They're both in this same kind of thing. Because the next question I have is actually from, let me see, this is from Brent. Jameis Winston or Aaron Rodgers? Who are you playing? It's crazy that these are the questions. And Rodgers gets Arizona, which should be easy, right?
Well, they should.
That
right?
one I have to go Aaron Rodgers. I get it. Hasn't been great, but you have to go Rodgers over Winston.
Okay, I feel better about that one because I actually I go Aaron Rodgers on that as well. The Tom Brady even, I go back and forth because I know Jameis is way up there and I understand why, but I have a very tough time with that. But Brady has been, 3 out of 4 games really bad. Aaron Rodgers has been underachieving, but not really. Like, okay, comparatively, like last game against Minnesota, 14 points, right? But the 3 games before that, 26, 22, and 23. Like, Aaron Rodgers, when he's not good, he's still okay. Tom Brady has been subpar.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I'd rank them Rodgers, Winston, Brady. My things would probably be, out of the players we've just talked about, Rodgers, Winston, Dak, Brady. As crazy as that sounds.
I actually don't mind it. I mean, that one I struggle with as well, but I love the matchup, and Dak has been surprising me with what he's been able to do. Amari Cooper has been helpful since he came back. They should have to throw. He should. Every time I say that, he should have to throw because I assume that Breeze will put up a bunch of points on that Dallas defense, but they've been okay. So I agree. Sadly enough, this is my question. All right, Tom Brady, he's fallen from grace. The fact that we can put two of those guys over him is nuts to me.
It is.
But he did look better last game. He found Gronk in the end zone, which he has definitely needed. I mean, the guy can still put up points. There's no doubt. If he puts up one more game, even if it's like a 25, so say he throws for 2 touchdowns and 300 yards, a good outing. How far up does he jump in your mind again?
If he shows me that again, he's going to jump quite a bit. He jumps to like top 7.
Okay, so this is just a skid that's going on, and you just want to put him on the bench until he pulls himself out of it, pretty much.
Yeah, because, I mean, they're running the ball a lot. They're not just, out there airing it out like they might have in the past. So if that doesn't change, I think it's game plan. But if it does, I can see them, okay, they might do it again. I feel more comfortable. But right now, I just don't feel comfortable. It might just be a game plan change.
I know. I never thought I would see Tom Brady this far into the season be outside of the top 10 and in danger of truly falling outside the top 15. I mean, not really, because the people below him are not going to catch him. But, I mean, he has 14, and the only people behind him are Dak, Andy Dalton, who just got injured, Fitzpatrick, who's not playing, Stafford, who's playing horrible, Eli, who's playing horrible, Blake Bortles. I mean, give me a break.
Mm-hmm. It's a crazy year with some of these. And, man, I can't believe going into this is a game on the line for playoffs. We're asking questions of Tom Brady or Jameis Winston, or is it Aaron Rodgers or Jameis Winston? Who would have ever thought we would have got to that point? And it wasn't, maybe at the beginning of the year, if you would have told me, okay, week 13, you're going to have a big question. If you're playing Aaron Rodgers or you're playing Jameis Winston, I would have been like, oh, wow, Jameis really stepped it up. He became what we thought he could be, right?
He just came back from being benched.
The same thing with the Dak thing. All these in the Brady. If we would have put these 4 guys in the same breath, it would have been like, okay, wow, Dak and Jameis came. They started to play, and nope, it's just not. And it's not even like Brady. His team's winning. He's fine. Rodgers' team's not winning. So that's a little different story.
Yeah, that's probably what helps him a little more.
Yeah, it's just okay. I got one more question. I got one final one. This one, I've already looked at it, and I have absolutely no idea what to say. So this is from Robert.
Oh, good. Because I've been giving such clear-cut advice tonight.
He has to play one player in his flex. Win, and he's in the playoffs. So Jordan Howard, LeGarrette Blount, Theo Riddick, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, or Traquan Smith, who didn't play last week. MVS is pretty much done already. I think St. Brown's passed him in the lineup.
Right. I sadly enough, because I don't feel good about any of those picks, I would go Blount.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Me too.
Would you? I was going to say, I can't believe him saying that.
I think that, to me, is the safest one. As crazy as that sounds, I think that's the safest player. Because Jordan Howard, to me, is just, there's no safety involved with him at all anymore.
No, he hasn't been playing well. Blount's come off a big game after Kerryon Johnson has been out. Blount's going to get the short yardage work. So even if he is not good, which that is a very big possibility, he could, save the entire by a 1-yard run for a touchdown. He could save your week, right? I used to think that about Howard. I don't anymore. I mean, he hasn't shown it, and that offense has been good. So I don't know why I would make that leap of faith right now. So yeah,
it's
for
weird.
me, it's Blount.
I'm in the same spot. All right, that's all I got. You got any other questions?
I have 2 here from YouTube. Here we have a pick one. This is from C Mac, and he is asking which one of these wide receivers should he play if he has to pick one, and that is Humphries, Galladay, and DJ Moore.
Galladay.
Yep, I agree.
He's going to have to get all the targets.
Yeah, and even though DJ Moore has been doing better, I think Galladay is still the Well, I actually do. I think he's a supreme talent, and I think he's the number one comparatively. And he has a better shot at getting targets in the red zone. So I just like Galladay.
I like DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore a lot, but I mean,
right.
You still got to go Galladay.
All right. And now this is from Derek L., who I will commiserate with you, Derek, because he says, "Hi, guys. I lost Gordon, and I need help. I'm in a 16-team PPR league. What do I start here?" So he has, for his running backs, he has Eckler, Jay Adams, Gus Edwards, and Collins. For the wide receivers, he has Lockett and Reynolds, and for his defense, he has Carolina and Bengals. So I think he wants to. Why don't we pick rank the running backs, then which wide receiver, and then which defense? So out of Eckler, Adams, Edwards, and Collins, first of all, Collins is number 4, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
So we can get that out of the way. So how do you rank Eckler, Adams, and Edwards? And we might have brushed on this before.
It's going to be Edwards over Adams for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think where I really slot Eckler in here.
He actually,
I think I go.
number
I think
2
I go. I think I go Edwards, Eckler, Adams.
Okay, yeah, we're on the same page. I agree with you. I really like Eckler. I think he is the guy to slot in, but Edwards has done a lot of good things, and I just haven't seen Adams enough yet.
Yep.
And then wide receiver, who would you play, Lockett or Reynolds?
Lockett. I'm going to go Lockett. I think he's been pretty good. And Reynolds, we've seen one game. I guess we've seen 2 good games from him this year, but I'm still going to go Lockett.
Yeah, Lockett has been better than I even realized. And we looked at his stats a couple of days ago. And I'm pleasantly surprised with that. I think he's playing pretty well. So I would go Lockett as well, even though Reynolds does have that upside, but I like Lockett. And then defensively, Carolina or the Eagles?
All right, let me see here. I can remember the matchups we got going here.
So Carolina. The Eagles are going against Washington, who is 17th. They're middle of the road if you're going by ESPN rankings, just to give you an idea. And Carolina, on the other hand, they are
Tampa.
I'm
gonna go Eagles. I just think that's going against Colt McCoy. Yeah, Eagles. I like that one better. Just because I've been saying Jameis is going to have a big game anyway. I can't pick Carolina D. So.
Yeah, that is...
There's okay, Carolina has the bigger potential because Jameis has that interception potential.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. But I think you're correct. Even though Eagles haven't been... they haven't been putting up big points. Carolina has been even worse. I just wanted to double check just to make sure. But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, the Panthers have been struggling, and they're kind of very similar to one another. But they went negative in 2 out of the last 3 games, and that other game was only 1. Compared to the beginning of the season when they were doing much, much better. Eagles, a little struggle too. Obviously, the Saints put it on them. They went for -10, but everything around that has been at least okay. So I agree with you. I think you pick on the younger quarterback.
So that's all the questions I think we got then, right?
It is.
But I've been multitasking here, putting together our little target leaders graphic that we throw up on Instagram. I just had some interesting names up here. I thought I'd just bring up to see. This is, and it feels like the NFL's changed here at week 12. CJ Uzomah was right up there with 13 targets last week, tied for 3rd in the NFL. 13 targets. Maybe we actually have a tight end that can do something.
Yeah, and I keep throwing his name out there, and he hasn't really delivered, to be quite honest.
13 targets, man. That's pretty
right,
that's pretty impressive.
And you can see that happening because you have Driscoll back there now, right?
Yeah,
so he's going to be looking
there's
for
going to be a change.
Exactly, shorter passes to the tight end. He did have 6 catches. They only went for 39 yards last week.
But hey, it's
what he's been doing anyway with less catches. So I like that, and especially going against Denver.
Yeah,
you know that he's going to try to get that ball out incredibly quick because he is going to get hit in the mouth.
Yeah, if you're hurting for a tight end and he's out there, I think that's a safe option. So another guy who's interesting. Josh Doxson had 10 targets last week. Is he becoming something?
I did not realize that, to be quite honest.
Yeah, he's getting up there a little bit.
That's actually really funny. Why is it that when the when the quarterback goes down, it completely changes? So obviously that chemistry is something to look into.
And then Marcel Aitman from Oakland had 10 targets last week. Wide receiver. Have you heard of that guy before?
I was gonna say I don't believe in that one.
I've literally never heard of him until I found the target list. But hey, that's maybe one of those. Let's see, he's a 24-year-old here, went to Oklahoma State. He's now had 7 catches for 66 yards in the last 2 games. Now that he's played, hey, interesting. He just started playing here, I think 2 weeks ago. So
yeah. Well, another one, and just because I had been kind of looking at him, and I'm probably not going to pick him up this late in the season, but Dante Pettis, we had touched on him a couple podcasts back. What do you have? You might have it. I don't know if he makes the list because he had
7 targets.
So he does 7 targets. So he did go 77 yards and a touchdown. He was supposed to be a big play guy, like a return guy, playing for San Fran. They're trying to figure out what they have. So he's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, there's a couple guys up here that Chris Herndon's another tight end to look out for. Just slowly, he had 8 targets again this past week. So
yeah, I
keep watching that.
Picked him up when OJ went down.
Yeah, he's not a terrible option. But yeah. All right, I think that's it though. That's gonna be it for our little mailbag. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk maybe a little rankings talk. Maybe not our own rankings, but we're gonna look at the expert ranks, see what we think, and maybe find some. This is the time of year though where these players like this are coming out of nowhere, kind of. Maybe that Marcel Aitman, maybe in 3 weeks we'll think he's a player. So keep watching. But I think that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys tomorrow.